Greetings everyone. Mr. Craft is back in the third and final video of this three-part series on temples. So for this video we're going to be taking a look at Roman temples. I just wanted to put these terms up here for you all again for the sake of research. So when you're looking up Roman temples to rebuild in Minecraft, you're going to be seeing words not just temple, but sometimes the Latin words templum or ides, terms which I discussed in my second video, which was on Etruscan temples. So feel free to take a look back at that for a brief little review. Alright, so Roman temples, by the time Rome is developed, or pretty well developed, so by the time we're in the period of middle to late Republic, we've got a lot of things going on. The Romans have already taken over the Etruscans, but have absorbed a lot of their culture, and the Romans have been interacting with the Greeks, and already as we start approaching the beginning of the period of empire, we're going to start experiencing a lot of Hellenization, which has been going on for some time at this point. But anyway, we're going to be seeing a lot of these elements, the Greek temples and Etruscan temples, showing up in Roman temple architecture. I just wanted to show you a quick image here. Now, these are some of the basic plans originally for Greek temples. I told you there were many different styles, but I picked the one that was most common. And the one that was most common is the parapteral, the parapteral, which we saw with the Parthenon. Now, I'm not going to go over all the names of some of these temples, and so, for instance, like the name Tholos, instead of saying Tholos, I might just call it a circular temple for the sake of brevity, and also to help my students out and not inundate them with terms. They'll need to know some, but there are a lot of terms that I'm not going to focus too terribly much on. So if you've kind of got an idea what these plans look like, kind of just hold these images in your mind, because we're going to be seeing a lot of these appear in Roman temple architecture. So let's go ahead and fall on into Minecraft real quick and see what's going on. So again, we have all the same basic uses of a temple that we've discussed in previous videos. So I guess really the only things that I should say before I start showing the different types of temples are some of the differences that we're going to see in Roman temples. So first of all, we're going to primarily see that the capitals are going to be a Corinthian capital. So before with the Greeks, we certainly saw Corinthian. There was Doric and Ionic. The Etruscans had a tendency to use more of a Doric type of capital. The Romans had a greater preference for, we'll say, the more decorative, and so in this case it's going to be the Corinthian. Yes, we will certainly see the other types present, but they were usually big fans of Corinthian. The porch types, the porticos, these are going to vary. Sometimes the porch will wrap all the way around, other times not. It's just going to depend on the specific temple. Now, in terms of a podium, the Romans took this from the Etruscans, and they kept the podium a relatively high podium. So we've got that. This podium, this platform is going to be higher than Greeks. The Romans are going to go a bit more for the Greek decoration of the pediment and certainly the frieze. So if they don't have inscriptions, they're going to have lots of beautiful and intricate carvings that are done, and this is going to be apparent also on the cornice, which will encircle the pediment. So there's going to be a lot of rows and geometrical decorations and things going all around the temple. The Romans really went sort of all out in terms of decoration for their temples. Also, we need to talk about the material. So they tend to be a bit more like the Greek temples in that they went for more stone and marble, as opposed to the Etruscan, which tended to be a bit more wood and mud brick based. So that's why we have so many Roman temples and so many remains still standing. The Romans are also going to make use of acroteria, which is something we saw in the other three temples, so in the Etruscan, or sorry, the other two temples, so the Etruscan and the Greek temples. The Romans will also make use or have a cell present, and sometimes they will have a tripartite cell, which they borrowed from the Etruscans, because again they're keeping the Capitoline triad alive, and so they'll have those three gods represented. Again, the Roman temples, like the Etruscan and the Greek temples, are also going to be colorful. Red is going to be a very prominent color, but also they're going to be using different types of marble. So they'll have travertine, so more of a yellow marble. They'll have black and pink and red marbles and green marbles that are going to be incorporated into their buildings. Okay, so that's an awful lot of information. So let me just real quick show you the temple types. And these are very important because they're going to be appearing in the Roma build. Alright, so first and foremost, we have a temple that we've seen in a video that I've done some time ago. Here we have the Maison Carrée, whereby the temple has what's called engaged columns that are going to, so it's going to be a Hellenized temple. The columns will go all the way around, but there's no portico, no porch. The columns are in fact engaged, except for here at the very entrance of the temple. Then, of course, on the inside we have the cella, the cell. Here, if we move forward, so we have just a round temple here. This is going to certainly appear in Greek temple architecture, not in Etruscan, but it will make a reappearance again in Roman temple architecture. So we think of like the temple of Hercules Victor, or the temple of the Vesta, and inside of this this temple, which has the portico, which goes all the way around it, inside is going to be the cell, which this time is not going to be round, and you'll have some sort of a cult statue to the deity that's to be worshipped. Okay, moving a bit forward. Now we have yet another type of temple. It looks very similar to the Maison over there, only that this temple, the columns will not go around. They will not continue. We're going to have a flat wall on the sides and the back, very similar to the Etruscan temple, at least in terms of the back wall. This temple that we see here is similar to the temple of the divine Julius Caesar. This temple is going to be called a pro-style temple, and then inside we're going to again still have the cell, and we still have the high platform and the acroteria up above. Here on this smaller temple, we notice things are a little bit different. This will appear on a bigger scale, although this form, which is called in antis, tends to appear on smaller temples. We'll notice we don't have any columns except for a few just on the corners here, but they are fully engaged. So basically, we're just looking at a flat wall, and in here we just have the two temples. I'm sorry, the two columns which stand out here at the front on the portico, and then if we were to go inside, then we would have the worship area, the cell here, so-called in antis, and again the smaller acroteria. Then we have the last type. There are a few other Roman temples that are going to appear that'll be slightly different, but this is going to be the last main type that we're going to see. This one is going to be reminiscent of a Greek temple, insofar as that we have the portico, the porch, wrapping all the way around it. So we could actually walk all the way around this temple, and so which is going to be reminiscent of a Greek temple, but it's also going to be very Etruscan, insofar as it's sitting on a high platform. This temple is called the peristasis. or the peripetrol, because of the columns of the portico wrapping all the way around. But then again, we're going to have just some decoration, some color. We'll have a cell here that'll be dedicated to the worship of the resident deity. This temple is going to be very similar to the temple of Castrum Pollux, which we will see appear in our Roma build, and of course the Equatorial. Excuse me. I think the only thing that I wasn't able to capture here and show you all are that there are going to be times when inscriptions will appear on the pediments, as I mentioned before. Presently, I don't know of any way to reproduce that other than to do what we've done over here, and that is to use these signs. But so yeah, folks, these are the Roman temples that are going to be appearing in our build. You will have the occasional oddball temple, which is the Pantheon. We've seen this in another video. I did a full video on this temple, so feel free to take a look at that. This is really a one of a kind, so this is not something that I would call it a typical Roman temple insofar as it only appears once. These, on the other hand, these temple styles will appear multiple times. Well, folks, I hope that this has been helpful, and that it will be helpful for those of you who are interested in rebuilding Roman temples within Minecraft. Certainly, if you have any questions about anything you saw, or you wish that I do a longer video on something, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to do so. So, for the time being, I think this wraps everything up. I certainly thank you all for your time. Hope that you enjoyed it. Hope that you learned something from it. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Walete.